difference in pulling ability between me and Piqué is astronomical.
Yeah,
it's astronomical. The guy has 1,000 women sending a message every day. The difference between like a hot college girl here at UTEP, just a regular school, regular, hot girl, and her pulling ability and Shakira's pulling ability is big, but not that big.
Not
that big.
Yeah,
it's tangible.
Yeah, when we were watching Lord of the Rings, I remember we were fucking high. We were stupid high, allegedly high. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Is only going to be like 5 miles, so you can finish it pretty quick. Get there in the afternoon, make sure you carry a bottle of whiskey with your boys.
Okay.
And just get rolling, have a good night, and then pass out.
Wake up the next morning, do it again.
Yeah, but make sure you stay in your tent because the ground was covered with spiders.
Oh, Jesus
yeah, bro, I was taking it. Terrible. I needed to poop, bro. I needed to poop super bad, and I was like, oh shit. So I walked out of the tent, which is a tiny little tent.
I mean, for you, every tent is a tiny little tent.
Imagine 3 dudes my size in a normal tent, bro. It was like the shortest one.
That's horrible.
Yeah, no, the shortest guy was my brother, and he's like 6'3".
Yeah.
And the other guy was 6'5".
That's fucking horrible.
So I get out because I needed to go to the bathroom, and
obviously
walk 30, 40 meters. Not even like 20 meters over past the tree line, and pop a squat behind a tree or whatever.
You do what you gotta do.
I got my phone turned on the flashlight. Spiders everywhere.
Really?
Not even. But
like big spiders?
They were like the long leg spiders. So
okay, what the fuck?
Yeah, completely harmless, but still like I'm not gonna hover my poopy hole.
My poopy hole over a fucking
an inch over.
Daddy long legs. I ain't hovering my poopy hole over anything called daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll hover it over you anytime, buddy. Sorry. But yeah, it was fucking terrifying. It was super funny.
That's fucking hilarious. Did you ever hear the story of that deep sea diver who talks about what it's like taking a shit? They have like this like little thing, this whole contraption that they do to take a shit, because it's really them in like this little super small submarine. And he's talking about how one time he went to go take a shit, and all he could see at one point, he got scared because all he could see was this huge like fucking eyeball in front of him, because he has a little flashlight and he turned on, also this huge eyeball, and he started freaking out.
Yeah, dude, I'd panic like a
motherfucker. Yeah, it turns
Cthulhu's
out.
There,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. Shit. Turns out it was one of those. It was like a soup. I don't know if it was a tuna. No, it was a fish. Those fish that are like so big that like the eyeballs can only see to one side of the fucking one of those. Crazy. And then their eyeballs are not only like, they're not that close together. They're pretty far apart. It's literally two eyes. They see a lot different. They see a lot different than we do. So it was really cool.
That prey mentality.
Yeah, for real, bro, for real.
Predator eyes.
Yeah. When do you feel like you're definitely a guy who has a lot of perspective on a lot of different things, and that's something that I really appreciate about our friendship, that I can come to you with topics that I want to discuss, and you shine a light on me. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. You shine a light on me.
When do you feel like that started? When do you feel like because I know that's something that I think about a lot when I started taking my own perspective into things. When do you feel like that started happening for you? I'm very curious for when you think that, or not when you think, but like when that started happening for you.
I don't know. I'd say sometime around college, I guess.
Really? Yeah, college?
It was around college. I mean, I was always like a regular little shit throughout high school. Didn't really care about much. Same thing in college. But I don't know. It just started. I think it's cool to know a little bit about a lot of things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And another thing that helps is also, like, I have no problem saying like, oh, dude, I have no idea. Yeah. No problem saying
that's very important.
Which helps you learn. Right. If you pretend like you know everything, and then you're not going to learn when you actually don't know it. But I have no problem saying like, oh, dude, I have no idea. Like, explain it to me. So that helped a lot. I don't know. Just be curious.
Be curious.
What's that? Ted Lasso? Be Curious, where he's throwing the darts.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's a great show, man.
Is it really? What show is it?
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso on what?
On Apple TV.
Apple TV? Dude, I don't have Apple TV.
Dude, I just... Because I bought a new phone, so I get 3 months. I'll give you the 3 months.
Oh, give me the 3 months. I just got an iPhone 2. They didn't give me no fucking 3 months.
Yeah, they do. They don't tell you.
Oh, okay.
You just kind of like get a notification at some point, and they'll be like, oh, you have a few months of Apple TV free.
Fuck yeah. You know what? Let me get my water. I left it over there real quick.
No, I got you, bro.
Don't forget the phone. But I have to say, I feel like it's a lot. I don't know, man. When I met you, you were already pretty articulate with the things that you thought.
Shit.
Yeah. I want to think that you were definitely, because I remember being younger and being like, I don't know, like much about like politics or like how a fucking car works. Or
I'm also a talker. Like I'm also a talker. Like I'm good at just kind of like, no, I'm not saying like talking through situations, but like I've always just been good at articulating. Unless it comes to like, talking about feelings with a girl or something. then I'm fucked. But like just overall, like in a regular topic, like cars, history, politics.
100%. Yeah. And I feel like you're right. Like when you say those things about like, sometimes I just admit that I don't know, but you're still able to carry out a conversation. I feel like that's really important when it comes to practicing the things that you want to say about things.
Yeah. Not
only that, but you're also giving other people the opportunity to like kind of fill your cup with some sort of other information.
Exactly.
I think one of the coolest things, and a reason why I think that people like talking to me, is because I like to bring out the things that they know.
Yeah.
And like get them talking about the things that they like. People will talk about the things that they like to talk about, like all day. And a lot of the times when they're at parties or when they're in situations like that, I feel like a lot of people are fighting for that spotlight. Like they're kind of like, not only because they like to talk about the things that they want to talk about, but also because they feel comfortable in those circumstances, right? That's why a lot of people will go into the weekly politics or news or whatever, because that's what they know.
Yeah.
That's the things that they've been researching all week and the things that they want to talk about. One time I was at a party with this guy, and they told me that he was like an electrician or something. And I started talking. I literally asked like the silliest questions. I was like, yo, like, how much voltage would it take to kill me? But I was like, coming from like which one of my like home appliances could have enough voltage to like kill me? And then he, dude, his face just like lit up. And he started like, he's like, well, your charger? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, like for my phone. He's like, yeah, so that thing has like a certain resistance to like whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. But that thing, he's like, that thing has like 4 of whatever the fuck. He's like, 2 of those could kill you.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, but there's just so much stuff that goes into, and he started talking to me about like everything that goes into building a charger, not only to make sure that it works, but to make sure that it doesn't kill people.
Yeah. I mean, the best, like touching on what you said, the best way to get anyone to like you, whether it's like, some dude at a party that you just met and you're trying to be homies like that, or like you're on a date with some chick or whatever, it's just let them talk about the stuff that they love. Yeah. It's like the best way. And listen, don't
listen.
Don't pretend. If you're going to be bored by it, then
I don't know how many people have gotten themselves into a fucking hoot or like just some sort of trouble because they were just sitting there listening, but they weren't actually listening to the shit that this other person was saying. And that's very important. I guess when I say listen to people or having these conversations where you're absorbing more than you're putting out there, is to actually do it, not just pretend like you're doing it.
Don't
you know
pretend
what
like you're listening.
I don't know how many of my friends like will be like talking about girls and stuff, and they're like, yeah, dude, I just sit there and like whatever the fuck she wants to talk about, like just talk about it. And like, yeah, that's cool, but then when they actually want some input, I mean, I'm not saying that they will always will. Sometimes
take notes if you have to. Take notes.
Bro, like make it seem like you're fucking important.
I had this one time, and this was like, I don't know, a few years ago. This girl that I met. First, I don't know why she thought I was like the nicest guy in the world. She kept telling me I was like the nicest guy in the world, which I'm not a mean guy, but I'm also, I don't know, I feel like I'm a pretty normal guy.
I feel like that's the light from like, what's that fish?
The Finding Nemo, the anglerfish. But and she worked for some like, I don't know, some like clothing company or whatever. Yeah. And they were doing like she had been working on a project that they were gonna drop, and she gave me like a specific day. It was like, I don't know, in 2 months from the night that I met her, and I don't know, she went to the bathroom or something, and I was like, I wrote it down. I wrote it down on my phone, on my calendar. Yeah. So that when that day came, dude, I texted her. I was like, hey, like, I remember, today's the big day. Like, good luck or whatever. Dude, and she was like ecstatic. That was the nicest thing which is realistically like the bare minimum. And that was the nicest thing any guy had ever done to her.
Dude, that's so cool. Like, you really, that's cool. Yeah. Like, to do that to somebody.
And I wasn't doing it out of like a manipulative place. Like, I'm going to make her think like I care. No, it was just like, I don't know. And it made her day, or at least she made it seem like she was very happy about it. Right.
Damn, that's
20 dudes texted her that. But yeah, stuff like that. Like, just pay attention to what they're saying.
Thinking outside the box, I think it's good. And, it's like an exercise, like, or like anything else. Like, once you do it more, like you get more ideas. Like, for example, like me with the podcast and stuff, like it was kind of hard at first to like find topics or like things for people to talk about. Through experience, and the more that you do it, the more you bounce ideas off of people, and the more you actually have the podcast, you realize that some topics are actually really good, some topics aren't. How broad should your topics be and stuff like that? When you're trying to find a relationship, when you're trying to find love, I feel like it goes the same way, bro.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know about your journey with love and how
I'm a chameleon, bro. I'll be who you need me to be. I'm just kidding. That's not true. Just kidding.
I feel like
personality.
I feel like a lot of it, like you do have a personality, bro. I feel like you're Mr. Personality.
Really?
Honestly,
dude, that's the nice thing you ever
said. For real.
God damn.
For real. I feel like I feel like I could bring you into like any situation, and you will adapt. And
I feel the same way about you, bro.
I feel
thank
the
same way about you.
But like, I don't feel like a lot of people have the ability to do that, and I feel like, especially if you're trying to find love or if you're trying to make more friends, that's very important.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know exactly everything that people are talking about. I've been put into conversations where I don't know what the fuck is
people love explaining themselves.
Yeah, they love explaining themselves. And that's just it's like something you can tag into to not only make yourself feel included, because dude, I know people that hate feeling excluded from conversations.
Ooh, everyone does.
Everybody
some
does.
people definitely more than others.
Yeah, some people definitely more. Like, I'm comfortable going like 10 minutes of like you guys talking about a rant that I don't know anything about, and I'm just sitting there learning. I don't feel like anybody's thinking that I'm a piece of shit for not contributing to the conversation. You know what I mean? I know. Look at this guy just absorbing everything that we're fucking doing. Yeah, exactly. This guy with his big blue eyes staring at me every other syllable. This guy
He's just
wants
walking
something
around
from
asking
me.
everyone how tall they are.
But for real, like, I don't feel like there's a lot of people that can do that, and I feel like that's a lack of people putting themselves.
It's definitely a skill. It's definitely like, and it's definitely helped me out with my. I'm 24. It's not like a long career or anything, but getting started with finding jobs and networking and meeting people, like being able to meet some adult. That's successful. For example, I want to go to law school, so being able to meet some successful adult that's a lawyer and being able to not be an idiot while talking to him is like a super valuable thing. I guess I'm just being a talker. I love like.
But not being a talker though, because there's a lot of people who do talk your fucking
no, that's
ear
true.
off,
That's true. No, there's definitely a limit. Just being like a good conversationalist, I guess. Because again, a lot of it is also just being able to listen well.
Right. I'm thinking about that story when we were at a bar, and so JP and I were at a bar, and I don't know if I had just gotten you into Bad Bunny or if I had just gotten into Por Siempre or something like that. It was like around towards the end of the pandemic. And we had our boy Randazzo, and he likes to talk politics.
Oh my God.
Like heavy politics, dude, out loud in front of everybody. And he likes to make his point across, right? And it was funny because...
And it's very, very aggressive points.
Very aggressive points, yeah. Definitely not the type of conversation that you want to be having at a party. I would say the type of conversation you do not want to be having, to avoid at a party. But anyway, we were hanging out, and I think it was back when we were both broke, bro. We went out.
I think I already had a job at that point.
You did?
I think I'd already started working.
Okay, but I remember you told me you spent like 13 to $15 on songs to queue at the bar.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I remember because I was like, that's a lot of money, bro. Like, that's a fuck ton of money just for songs. To play Bad Bunny.
Otra Noche en Miami.
I know. And then there was a bunch of country before. Like there was like literally I think like an hour and a half before your music came on.
It was a while.
And so literally like we're all waiting. And I think like maybe 15 minutes before that song is gonna come out, you get into a conversation with Randazzo about politics.
Yeah.
And literally, like we're chilling, we're playing, and then all of a sudden you just hear it. You just hear the Bad Bunny, and it's at a good volume. We've been drinking all night. It was good, bro. The bar wasn't full, so we could like act full.
Yeah, we could jam out
and just sing like we're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And nobody was gonna give a fuck. Nobody was gonna kick us out. The vibe was just immaculate.
It was such a good night.
Playing pool with the boys, and there I see JP. Mouthing the words to Bad Bunny while Randazzo's just chomping down on
this guy. He was talking to me and he was telling me some hilarious, like, absurd shit. Yeah. And I was staring like, let's just say I'm talking to Randazzo here. Yeah. And the entire time I was staring at Lachuda.
He was looking
the entire time throughout the entire song. I was so mad. I was like, God damn it, man.
And I'm jamming out. Yeah. I'm singing. I'm having a good time or whatever. You know what's funny too is like I think like a couple like minutes after that he came and he tried to talk to me too.
Yeah.
And I think it was
and you told him, you're like, nah, Dad, I'm going out.
Yeah. I was legit like he was talking to me and I was like, and the song came on and it was Bad Bunny and I was like, hey, you know what, bro, I've been waiting for the song for like an hour, so I'm gonna go sing it, but I'll be right back and talk to you. And he literally looks at me, he's like, oh, you're good, bro, like go ahead. And I was like, I
love Randazzo. I should have just told him because I love Randazzo. Yeah. He's just once he gets on a roll, once he gets like on a political roll, and he knows that like I studied political science and I also like know a lot about it. So he knows that like I'm the guy to rant to, which is great. I love it, 9 times out of 10. But that one time I was like, no, dude,
bro,
come on.
No. Especially since we had been waiting for so long and just listening to like country for like an hour and a half. Yeah. But it was fun. Those nights were pretty cool. I think
was a really good night.
That was a really good night. Yeah. And I feel like that's very important. One of the reasons why people like hanging out with us is because I mean we were at this random little bar.
It was
just us and the boys and just having a good time. And it was literally just like us and some music, and that's all you need. Like we don't need a lot to have a good time, bro. And I feel like that's like gravitated a lot of people towards us. Yeah. Like I have people who I don't want to show off. You know what I mean?
You got people.
But the people that like I like Miller one time, and he was gonna go to like this. He had just met this girl and he was gonna go to her dorm or something, and she was throwing like a little thing. And then he hit me up out of nowhere and he was like, yo, like, I need you to come to this like party. He's like, what are you wearing? I'm like, dude, my chanclas. And like, whatever. He's like, all right, we'll put on some jeans and I'm going to take you to a party. And I was like, bro, like, I don't know. He's like, please, bro. Like, he's like, no, I can't take anybody else. and I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. And he took me and on the ride, like, he just said it so like nonchalantly, but it meant the world to me, bro. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, we're going to like, whatever. He's like, but bro, I know I can bring you anywhere and you're going to be a good time. And he just keeps driving and talking. And in my head, I'm like,
little passenger princess.
I know. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing anyone has ever said to me.
No, I mean, he's right, bro. He's right. You're definitely on that A team where I know I can bring you. I don't have to worry about you. Not just like being antisocial with like if dudes or whatever, but not like creeping out any girls or something.
Yeah,
like not killing the vibe.
Yeah, I know. Not
you're gonna match
the
whatever vibe is
yeah,
there, which is fucking perfect.
I think it wasn't until I was like 20, 21 that I had my first experience where I realized I brought somebody to a party. And they just could not be left alone.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like,
that's another. I don't have to. I hate bringing someone, and then you gotta like
take care of them.
You gotta take time. Like, no, dude, I'm bringing you here to meet new people. Like,
exactly.
Go talk to these other guys. Like, hey, this guy plays the same video game as you, or whatever. Or this girl went to the same school as you, or something. You know, like make friends.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that one time I took you to Austin, that first time.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. Yeah.
That's when I knew I was like, he's built different.
Yeah, and
right?
I was
such a good time.
You know what's funny too is I was like starstruck, bro. I was like, no way.
That was the first time you've been to like a real school.
Yeah, the first time that. Yeah, not that UTEP is in a real school, but like I remember it was.
Austin.
I was the first time because I was always like, damn, these kids live pretty cool, like have a pretty good time. That's the first time that I was like, wow, these kids.
Yeah, because West Campus, like I remember on the way there, I was kind of explaining to you. I'm like, no, Austin's like a city, but West Campus, it's like its own little thing inside the middle, and it's like you're not going to see any adults there. It's just college kids.
Yeah, college kids. And
it's going this madre that you think a bunch of college kids are going to create.
Yeah, and you know
it's exactly what it was.
You know what's crazy too is I feel like here in El Paso, like we have how like when I came back, I was just like, I mean, it had happened before because I've been to other places, but like that was one of very specific times because it was just you and me, going about town. That I was like, dude, these people are fucking cool. Like, everybody thinks that they're gonna be assholes. Everybody thinks it's gonna be like this. No, bro.
Well, also, I mean, the group that we went with is also like the I forgot what the group of the club that they were. It's like a Hispanic organization at UT, and it was like a bunch of people, a lot of them from El Paso. They were all like just genuinely cool.
I did run into a lot of people.
A ton of people from El Paso. But like if we had to hang out with a bunch of like I don't know like frat douchebags from UT, they're exactly how they're portrayed.
Yeah, but they're TV. Like that here too. You know what I mean? Like
nothing compared to there.
Really?
Like here, I mean, Phi Delta is clutch, and UTEP, we can't. Thank God, we can't be like those guys, like those other fraternities. Yeah. Which I mean, there's benefits and there's drawbacks. Like, of course, like we wish we could party harder and we had houses and a bunch of
that we had somebody to like protect us when shit happens. Yeah.
Like a bunch of crazy money backing us and stuff like that. So nothing could. We kill someone and nothing happens.
Yeah.
But. Which actually happens all the time.
Yeah.
But
I like how shit like that happens, but like it's not associated with a group of like 50 guys, even though like it kind of is. Like it is. If it's any group of friends that's bigger than like 15, 20, shit's gonna happen, bro. But since they don't have a label to them, then nobody labels it as it. Then they just blame the person. But when something happens in a fraternity,
3 little letters.
Yeah, now you got 3 little letters and they blame us for it. But anyway,
it's clutch that we can't, even though we can't have like those great things. I think we also avoid a lot of the bad things. Which is like
100%.
Like since. In those schools, Greek life has a monopoly, almost a full monopoly, at least for normal dudes, on parties. Like if you're not in a fraternity and you're a regular looking dude that's not an athlete or has some other like large club, I'm sorry, bro, you're not going to get into the coolest parties. You're not going to meet the hottest girls. You're not going to party in the coolest houses. It's just not going to happen. So like you have to join a fraternity, and then that's why they like torture you for a few months during the pledging process, which is ridiculous. So that's like I think it's a huge benefit that we don't have that because the people that joined are people that wanted to be a part of it, and we actually have to like do important stuff, not just like, oh, you're joining because you get to party with Theta apple pie. So like
I think that's something that I have the hardest time getting across to people because I'm like, we don't get to do that here, bro. Like, here, if I'm like, if you show up to one of the meetings here and I treat you like shit, you're like, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. What the fuck are you giving me?
Like we can't afford to. And they're like, oh, how do you guys hazing and shit? Like even if we wanted to, we couldn't.
Yeah, like, there's no
everyone would
incentive.
Drop like that. There's no we don't have a monopoly on that culture.
We don't. There's nothing that like kids that join us or like what we have to offer is like professional development. Like how can we benefit your college career?
And like a solid group of friends.
And like a solid group of like cool guy friends, and that's it. Like that's all we have to work with. And while these guys have thousands of dollars to throw at a party, like a lot of things to dangle in front of you.
Tens of thousands. I one of my good buddies from TCU. he was like, one of their parties, he was like, it was like, we paid $60,000 for Hardwell to come through, and plus another 30 to 40 for the, like, they'll spend, but also their dues are
incredible,
or some bullshit.
Well, it's like when we were in ASU, and then the guy was like, our backyard was like too big, so we just build a wall.
Yeah, so just build a wall.
Build a wall, like this mobile wall that we can push in. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. And when we were in PLC in St. Louis, and one of the guys was like, our house is too big. Yeah, so we like shut down. Half the house. I'm like, Jesus, that's yeah. What the fuck?
Shit,
that's crazy. But again, I feel like in anything that you want to do in life, that's a really important topic that I always have a hard time explaining to people. It's just like being a well-rounded guy, like having this perspective on like different things that you can talk about and different things that you can interpret.
That's like the key word there.
Yeah. Not being so sucked into like this one like way. Because bro, I've been there, bro. Where like there's people that are like, I don't want to talk shit about like Republicans or Democrats, but I know people who are like just
their entire identity
is just politics. Being that, is just being this one thing, and it's annoying because everything revolves around that. I've had people like literally go around the room asking people what their fucking political party is, and I'm just like, bro, even if I'm with you, you just made me very uncomfortable, and I don't want to say anything. And that's just how they interact with the world, you know what I mean? And that's very, 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 very polarizing. That's gonna push people away from
it's such a one-dimensional way of viewing things. Which like even if your view is like correct. Mm-hmm. Like,
which it hardly is.
Which a lot of times it isn't. Mm-hmm. Like, not everyone is as well studied as you.
Yeah.
So like, just because someone expresses like a viewpoint that disagrees with you, it doesn't mean they're evil. They just might not know what the fuck they're talking about. Odds are they don't know what the fuck like is going on either. Yeah. It's not because they're bad people. It's just maybe their like parents told them this, and that's what they believe their whole life. It's okay. Like
That's like, and it can go like with anything, bro. Like, I've had people get in fights over like fucking basketball teams, bro, or like football teams, like seriously mad about those things, and I'm like, bro,
sports fans are weird.
There's no way you can take something that seriously. I like watching some sports,
but I'm a huge Dolphins fan. I love college football. I get rowdy for the sports, but like once the game's over, like okay,
who cares, bro? Like, but I've seen people get into like some pretty meaty arguments about shit like that, bro. And I'm like, bro, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares?
It's like, dude, these guys, the team that lost. The quarterback still got paid tens of millions of dollars for fucking
exactly, bro. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Really? Oh, dude, I feel that way about like about these celebrity shows and shit like that. Like now that like when Shakira released that like song with Piqué,
the Piqué diss track,
diss track, and like people, and especially because like coming from like a Mexican household, right? Like there's all these shows like they have Ventaneando and El Gordo y la Flaca and like shit like that. And these people, El Gordo y la Flaca, bro. Yeah. Like these people like eat that shit up, bro. Like it's literally like it's like a parasitic circle, bro. Like they relate to these celebrities like they're
as if they could actually relate to, because that's the only way that they're going to relate to the celebrity. 100%. Like, I got cheated on. So did Shakira. Like,
exactly. Yeah, different. And it's so
you got cheated on by Todd in your algebra class, not Piqué.
No, a multi-millionaire soccer player, bro. Like,
that's so. And people were like, "How can you cheat on Shakira?" And it's I've had a couple people, like a couple girls. How can a dude cheat on Shakira? I'm like, you don't understand.
Perfect.
She is, but like. I can't even explain it to you because I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because like the difference in pulling ability between me and Piqué is astronomical.
Yeah,
it's astronomical. The guy has 1,000 women sending a message every day. The difference between like a hot college girl here at UTEP, just a regular school, hot girl.
Yeah.
And her pulling ability and Shakira's pulling ability is big, but not that big. Not that big.
Yeah,
it's tangible.
Yeah, it's tangible. It's tangible is the word that I want.
The difference between me and Piqué is not tangible. Yeah, 0%. I can't even comprehend like the attention that guy gets from like supermodels on a daily basis.
Not only that, but it's just living that lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's something that I talk about.
The cars, the houses, the parties.
You're literally living every day, bro. Like it's like every, I don't know, dream, like it's so dense. Like every single day that you're living is so dense. You're constantly going to like these. I mean, bro, I was in a frat at fucking UTEP, and I had shit to do every day.
Oh, yeah.
Things, meetings, everywhere to go. Yeah. Can you imagine this motherfucker who's literally committed to millions of dollars? Yeah. So many people that work under him. So many people that want their hands in the fucking cookie jar. So many people that are trying to schedule things with him. So he's meeting thousands of people, so much so that they fucking forget like who the fuck they're talking to. They literally need assistants to tell them who they're talking to, like whatever. I think one of the coolest perspectives on that was when I watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. Yeah, and he literally had a guy next to him tell him like who this is, what's going on. He didn't even say no to autographs. He would just look at that guy, and that guy was like, nah, not today. Like literally, because they just get like bombarded with so much attention.
Yeah.
So like when people are like, how could PK like cheat and chicken? I'm like, dude, this is not.
How did it take him this long?
Exactly.
Like men are weak. That's a strong man to not cheat on her.
Yeah, for 10 years of a marriage.
It's
that's
crazy.
insane. Also, like I'm just spitballing here, but these people like in the celebrity lifestyle, like cheating, and like, dude, these guys are like.
Yeah. That wasn't the first time he cheated.
Yeah, that was not the first
chance.
time. I don't. These guys are. You can't hold them to the same level. They do not live the same lifestyles that we do.
They should be held. We're not like saying like, oh, it's okay that he cheated. Absolutely not. But
you got to understand that these guys are not in the same circumstances that you are.
Absolutely not.
These guys don't need security. Technically, people look for couples and they get married for some sort of security, right?
Yeah.
Some underlying security of like, I want to feel like this is a person
stability
that's stability. They don't need that shit.
They don't need
like
that.
I talk about that all the time, bro. I talk about that. I'm like, what would you do? And this is like fucking. This is where I saw like one of the first times that I ever saw the difference of perspective in like the people who have it and the people who don't.
Yeah.
And how I had to put myself in the perspective of some people who have it, right? I was like, one of my favorite questions is like, and I got it from a movie where this guy wins, his uncle dies. I don't remember what the fuck the movie was. I got to text my dad about it. But basically his uncle passes away and he has an inheritance of like $20 million.
I think I know this.
Yeah. And then, but the only way that he can get the money is if he, for like 2 weeks, they're going to give him $20 million. And he has to spend those $20 million and come back to the same office where he got them. But by the time he comes back, he has to own the exact same amount of things that he owns right now. So if right now you own like a car, a house, and
so
whatever. So
he has to just donate the money essentially.
Not donate the money, but donate the money, but also like, it's like a whole thing because now he's like buying furniture for people. He's hiring people.
Oh, okay.
He's like, do you need a lawyer? No, I don't. But like this, look, whatever. And he's like, he hires people to I think he hires people to buy him stuff. Like he hires somebody to buy him furniture for other people and he donates it and stuff like that. Like he literally has to spend all of that money and come back with nothing.
It's probably such a hassle.
I know.
Full time spending $20 million
it's tough. It's tough.
Hassle.
And so
I do it all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Tell me, I'm exhausted afterwards, bro. I hate that shit. But anyway, when he comes, like they try to get him at the end when like someone who doesn't want him to get the $20 million, somebody who doesn't want him to get the $200 million pretends to buy something, but so at the end he still has like $10,000 in his bank account, and then he like hires a lawyer right like last minute, like whatever. But the cool thing about that is I think about like Justin Bieber and all those people, and I ask people, I'm like, if you won the lottery right now and you had $200 million after taxes, whatever, $200 million left, what would you do? And a lot of people are like, oh well, I would like start a business, or like I would buy property. Yeah. Or like I would do this and I would do that, and I'm like, why, bro? Like, why? I'm like, why?
I've got a very, very detailed plan.
I know you do.
What
I
happens
can believe
if I win the lottery?
Yeah.
But my lifestyle changes a lot, but not so much with like rich fancy things. It just changes a lot
But my point is that like I guess what I'm trying to come across with this question is, what would you want to do if you could do any? Really, the real question is, what would you do if you could do anything? Because $20 million, $200 million, bro, you're not gonna spend that in your life. Well, you can't.
If you're an idiot,
I know. If you're a fucking idiot, you can't.
But
right?
yeah, no, you can.
Which is why people that win the lottery go broke, because if they were fucking idiots. Like Anthony
Jeselnik. Yeah, they also get surrounded by the worst people.
Yeah, they get surrounded by the worst people. Everybody wants something, like whatever. But I guess my question there is like, their first instinct is like security and to make more money. Like, how could I start a business to secure these things that I have? And to me, I'm like, okay, bro, but like, really the question is, what would you do if you could do anything that you have ever wanted? Because that's how these people are basically live. I mean, they have a lot of responsibilities, but you're thinking about security, but buying all these things that you don't have right now. Well, they have them. Exactly. You know, all the things that you aspire to do from here to your 60s, Justin Bieber did them when he was like 18, 19.
Dude, Justin Bieber's life must have been crazy.
Exactly. And now it comes with like strings attached, obviously. They have to work their asses off and like whatever. Yeah. I mean, not more than, you know, most regular folk or whatever, just in a different way, in a different I'm not, you know, trying to take down anybody's hard work, but they're the ones with the millions of dollars and you're not. Yeah. And like, what would your life be if you had no worries, like you had financial security for like all this, you had everything you needed, you could provide all these things that you wanted.
And if you throw fame into that mix,
people coming at you 24/7.
That's why all these dude athletes are weak as the average dude athlete compared to like the average like female celebrity athlete is like, it's not even close, because her like attraction level, I guess, for lack of a better word, hasn't actually changed that much. Like if she was pretty before, she was still pretty. Doesn't matter if she's, you know, a superstar at the WNBA or like the World Cup, you know, soccer team or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the dude's life has changed completely,
bro.
And men are significantly weaker than I think, you know, than women when it comes to that. So he's not going to say no to a million girls. Yeah. Well, she's going to say no to a million dudes because she's been saying no to a million dudes since she was like in preschool.
Yeah,
like,
I've literally had this like told girls like, oh, that guy's cute. Like they'll tell me that guy's cute. I'm like, go talk to him. They're like, no, I would never do that. Yeah, I'm like, you kidding me? Like,
you got like a 99% success rate.
Exactly. You have such a higher success rate than me. And I'll tell my boy who's the fucking, you know, top 5. Yeah. I'll tell my boy, go talk to that girl, and he's zooming over there. As soon as someone gives him like a, okay, go do it. Dude, we don't need that much. Why? Because, you know, like that's just the way that things are, bro. Like, culturally, that's the way that things are. And if there were any other way, things would be different, but they're not, you know. And
I'm saying you guys have like a 99% success rate. It is so easy.
It is so easy,
oh my God, I like your jacket. And it's over,
And it's over.
Like, it's
you don't even have to go like, but I mean, I guess like a cold approach is usually what we have to do, like a lot of the times.
Well, I don't do that. I don't talk to women.
I don't do cold approaches either.
I don't talk to women.
You know what's crazy? I was actually thinking about this the other day. I'm not like very good at like hitting on. I've never been like really good at like hitting on girls. Shut the fuck up, bro.
I'm telling the truth.
That's the reason you're in this podcast, bro. I just squeeze this in here. No,
using me for my body, dude.
Fuck no.
Fuck, man.
But I've never been really good at like cold, like anything that's like remotely hitting on a girl. I've never really, I don't know, had the confidence to do that a lot of times. And every time that I've done it, it didn't work out for me. So
yeah, like that random, like I don't understand how like a dude can just walk up to a random girl at a bar and start spitting game. I can't do it unless someone like introduces me and like I get like a one-on-one conversation. That's different where you can like kind of start. But just like the random like walk up to the girl at the bar, it's like what?
Anything that lets this girl know because obviously they know. They know obviously that you're hitting on them. You know what I mean? I mean, you know what's funny too is I try to explain this to some of my boys, like we're like, dude, if the 1 in a million time that girls tried hitting on me, I knew right away. I could tell right away. It was so easy to tell. And I'm like,
look at you, bro.
I know, right? I'm like, it was so easy to tell. I was like, you think they don't know? And it happens to them a lot more. Like, obviously they know that you're hitting them. And to me, I don't know. I've never been able to do that. Like, I've anything other than like spitting game or like throwing.
Most of it is just like
throwing something on like.
Yeah, the spitting game is literally just like having a nice conversation with them. And like we said earlier, just let them talk about something that they like and listen. Exactly. And you're there. Boom. You're there. Like,
I feel like
there's no secret. Like
the key there is being approachable.
Yeah.
Like being able to be in a conversation. I think just
like be funny.
You having a good time yourself. Us having a good time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's attracted a lot of people towards us.
You're a pro at that.
Well, that's gravitated people towards us, and you bounce a lot of good energy off of me, bro. Where we're not pouncing on things.
I've got my chakras aligned.
Yeah, for real, bro. We must both be like Sagittarius or something, bro. God. Our rising moons must be.
I'm a Stegosaurus, bro. It's not real.
I'm a subway train or whatever. Yeah. That's kind of like where I feel my energy going. Exactly. You know what I mean? But
linear.
I think like. I think offering like people to have fun, because I don't know, a lot of the times when I'll be hanging, like I take my friends or whatever and guys hit on them, they literally interrupt the good session that we're having. We'll be dancing, we'll be having a good time, and they're trying to pull you aside or like whatever, and that's not comfortable. Nope. That's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. You're having a good time. Nobody wants to start hearing about your Bitcoin in their fucking ear and shit like that. You know, that's so uncomfortable. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like don't. They could not give a fuck. I'm not saying that you shouldn't portray like good things about yourself, but that's definitely not the direction to go. Anything that would be like me spinning, anything that's not me trying to just portray myself would make me very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just lying to you, and that's not. I don't like lying because it's very difficult to keep up. Not because I care about people's feelings or where it can lead.
Eventually, you're gonna.
Eventually, I'm gonna get caught, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on my toes.
Before. I've definitely kind of like.
Yeah,
you know, little lie, fib, little exaggeration there, and then it turns out that like they know the other guy or whatever that was involved in that, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So like that's very difficult, more for me. So I'm when I don't lie, it's not because of other people. It's more because of me. I wouldn't want to keep up with some shit like that. Too much work. Fuck, but again, I have a lot of security in myself that like if it's not working out here, that's fine.
That's true.
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take a nap.
This is his way of saying like, what do I have to lie about?
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. Like, what do I? And I feel like that doesn't happen with a lot of guys. They're committing to like, this is it right here. Like I gotta, this is something, which is so It's like it's like a hole that you dig yourself into, bro. Yeah, it's just this hole of desperation where you've been looking around all night for something and you're just not hitting. Like, you're just not getting anything, not getting anything. So you just keep throwing these Hail Marys because you've been doing it all night. So now you feel like if you stop, it's going to be like just such a huge failure.
Yeah.
And I've seen the desperation in a lot of guys lingering at the fucking bar.
Like 11, that like 1:30 a.m. where the bar's about to close, and you see them just approaching like 5 or 6 different girls.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you just spent like $50 in 30 minutes buying like 5 girls drinks that left right after you bought them.
And you're not having a good time, bro. Yeah. And you're getting all these weird side eyes. Like, let me tell you right now, like, if you're not getting an immediate like positive interaction, you're trying to force it.
Yeah, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, you're wasting your time. Oh, bro. I mean, not to talk shit, but like, I think this is the first podcast that we're talking shit about the guys, and not talking shit about the girls.
and when we talk shit about the guys, like, I'm part of this too.
Yeah.
I'm not like above this like high and mighty thing. No, like I definitely fuck up all the time too.
I feel like
just not at bars. I don't do that at bars.
I feel like hopefully when people hear this, they know that it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
I hope that they know that it's coming from a place where like we've experimented, we've been there, when like the best result.
We experiment all the time.
Yeah, we experiment all the time with each other, with other people. Yeah, we just go around doing all sorts of
fucking
bunch of little scientists, we like to call ourselves.
Stallion shit.
But really, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people are like trying to get something.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, you should be looking like, are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy being here?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the things that you're doing?
I feel like the harder you try, specifically for like, I don't know, like hooking up with a girl or whatever, the harder you try, like the less it's gonna happen.
Bro.
Weird.
Yeah. You gotta like focus on other things.
Yeah.
You gotta like, it's like focusing on like winning a game instead of focusing on the fundamental skills that make you actually good at the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're focusing on like winning and like what's gonna be the dance that you're gonna make when you win, or like how good it's gonna feel when you win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Instead of just like,
you know what, I should
score,
probably how do you score? How do you maintain a good pace? How do I hydrate myself properly so I can keep going?
That isn't like a sexual thing. That's an actual sports.
Yeah, that's an actual sports. How do I lube up? You know, in the right places. Like, keep going.
I'm gonna make my mom listen to this.
And I feel like I watch a lot of these like TikToks, which I fucking hate, bro. With this one guy with his phone interviewing people at a bar.
Dude, like, that's my least favorite genre. That's my least. I hate and it's much. Always interviewing like a bunch of like just drunk girls who are hammered.
Yeah, and
it's like, let me get a kiss. Yeah, like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
That's the worst, bro.
Yeah,
so like, there's I know this guy named Sneeko because he got himself into a lot of shit. And
I know Sneeko. Yeah,
I know that he used to do like the 1 minute Subway conversation.
Where he would have this little table.
Yeah, and that one.
That guy's funny as fuck.
He was cool when he was just doing that. Like it was kind of pushing it sometimes. Yeah, it was kind of pushing it sometimes, but it was still good. Like he literally, like I remember there was this one TikTok that I saw where this girl came up to him and was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you interviewing girls?"
And then he starts like messing with her.
He literally is just like, "Hey, well, like think about it. Like I'm just trying to have a conversation." He's like, "I think you're a very pretty girl. Like you're having a conversation." And she literally like just like
switched him as soon as he called her pretty, bro.
Exactly.
She switched him
and also like he tells her at the end, he's like, "Think about it. Like you're also a girl. You can come up to me right now and do this. I couldn't do this to you.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, that's a privilege that you have. You can come up and I don't feel threatened and nothing's happening. I'm not calling the cops. But if I was to do this to you, it would be very different.
Yeah,
the words that you're using, because she was talking shit to him. Yeah.
She was pissed.
Which
like, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened before the video. But
yeah, I don't know. No, she just went up to him. She literally, she saw it. She got mad and she went. Right. But anyway, those were kind of cool. Like I thought that's kind of where it was going.
Yeah.
But what I see now is like literally just these guys being like, so what would you rate me?
What's your body count?
Yeah, like, what's your body count? What would you rate me? So, can I get the digits? Like, dude, that's so fucking cringy, bro. That's so uncomfortable.
The one that's fucking awesome is that one big dude. He's like a big fat dude with like a mullet with a hat. And you walk up to like a dude or a girl and he'll be like, "Who's the most attractive person at this bar?" And then I don't know, they'll point at someone and he'll like drag them over to the next person. He'll be like, "He thinks you're the prettiest person at this bar. What do you rate him 1 to 10?" And then they'll always be like, "Oh my god, an 8 or a 9." And then he's like, "You won't give him a kiss," and they always do.
No
it, bro.
way!
It's so funny.
Well, it's the power of a camera, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me, what that camera can do, bro.
Yeah.
That camera has some fucking power. I think, but to me, the lowest of the low are those that are like, "So would you go home with me right now?" Or what?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
bro,
bro, that's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And also, they always kind of pick the worst people to say the worst shit. And I feel like that's the stuff that these guys in like these girl versus boy podcasts, they watch that shit and they're like, "You see."
Yeah.
Girls are fucking
Yeah.
Just gold diggers and whatever.
Yeah.
And then the girls are like, well, guys just want to fucking get some pussy and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're literally picking the worst of the worst, and you're comparing it to like the average day life of like.
Like I watched an edit of like a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know, 30 girls cheating about how they are confessing about how they cheated. Yeah, confessing about how they cheated.
Built into our system.
And it was like some like Sigma male edit about all these girls, you know, confessing about cheating, and all the comments were dudes like, oh my god, like this is so bad, all these women. And I was like, okay, this is just an edited video of like
a podcast.
30 girls that is, you know. Like,
not only that, but it was meant to be this.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to keep in mind. It was meant to be this. When people were casting these girls, when they were asking for these girls, when they were writing up the topics, they meant for this to happen. They wanted to get exactly. This is a guided conversation to get exactly. And also, you're fighting with people who like are not
on the internet, bro. Like, how are you gonna fight with someone on the internet?
Exactly.
A stranger, some college chick living in a city that you've never even met. Bro.
And my
fight with the girls in your college first.
Yeah, bro. and I guess the perspective that I have on that is the same that I have on like when I was talking about like how these like ventaneando and like Gordo Flaca talk about celebrities.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're not picking the right things to talk about, and you're just chisme. And these household ladies are just absorbing all of this, and they just think that this is what things are like. This is what celebrity like is like. They're just completely feeding into this artificial perspective on the most popular people on the planet.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel relatable. They think that it's some sort of like way of life that they can now apply to their way of life. And it's not, man. And I feel like if you just absorb things for what they are, you know, go around instead of thinking about what you're supposed to see in other people and what you're supposed to find in bars or in podcasts or in girls or boys, you should just go with an open mind and just have a conversation with somebody about something that you like. And that's going to guide you towards more interesting people, maybe that putting yourself out there that invite you to stuff that you like more. Maybe you discover things that you didn't like. All of a sudden you realize, it's like, you know what I think about? I think about my path to working out, which is like a cool little tangent that I'm going to have.
Yeah.
When I started working out, which was during the pandemic, mostly because everybody started working out because we were bored.
Shredded during the pandemic.
We got shredded, because I was, bro, I was eating so much. Everybody, we got fucking shredded.
That was so good.
But here's the thing, that was the point to get shredded when we first started working out. But what actually started happening, bro, is I was working out every day, so I was getting more hungry. Like I was hungry every day, so I was eating a fuck ton. I was eating so much, and then I was working out more, and then I was just like having a good time. In that time, bro, I felt better.
Yeah.
I just felt better, so I was like, okay, some of these foods that I eat kind of fuck my stomach up a little bit, which has been happening my entire life. I'm gonna eat a lot of something that doesn't. Yeah. Now I was looking at my food. What do I eat every day? Then after doing that, I felt lighter. I felt better. I was eating a lot. I was growing bigger, but my stomach felt nice. I looked good.
Bloated,
nothing. Yeah, I realized, okay, maybe I shouldn't be chugging 8 beers on a Saturday night because I'm going to puke.
Whoa. Let's not take it that far, all right? That's an eating disorder.
But I was like, okay, like maybe drink a little bit more like drinks, like liquor instead of beer because it makes me feel less bloated and stuff like that. A year and a half in, I felt great about myself, and I liked the way that I felt, and I realized that I could have been feeling this way for a long time if I had just paid a little bit more attention at the food that I was eating, the exercise that I put into my life, and the things that I dedicate myself to. Yeah. Now, I feel like when I first started, the goal was to look a certain way. I wanted to look shredded. But when I actually went through the process, I couldn't give a fuck what I looked like, bro, because I felt so confident in how I felt that I really didn't give a shit, and that affected my personality. That affected the way that people interacted with me. Like I had so much energy for a bunch of different things. It changed my whole life, bro. Yeah. And it wasn't in the direction that I was hoping. And if I feel like I've met a lot of people who are more focused on looking a certain way, and it takes them down a different path. Yeah. Taking supplements that do a bunch of crazy shit, experimenting with things that you're not supposed to because you want to get this exact shape and like whatever. When at the end of the day, feeling the way that I felt, it just gave me so much confidence into just not giving a fuck what anybody thought and taking my life into this direction of just betterment, just feeling better about myself. Yeah. Before I care about what other people think that I look like, or before I portray something that other people want to see that I think is cool, I'm more just cared about being comfortable in myself.
Which at the end of the day is going to help you a lot more.
100% more. It's going to help you a lot more, bro. Yeah. That took me to places that I could not have been before, bro. That took me to meeting people that I could not have met before. Gay strip clubs, gay bars, anything gay. I was there.
To the gay bars, what's it, Epic? The gay bar here?
Yeah.
One of the gay bars here. Mm-hmm. Best bar in the city.
Never been.
You've never? You never came with us.
Never been.
Best bar in the city.
No, I've never been with you guys.
Best bar in the city.
I would go, but it's
such
just
a good time.
Every time that you guys say let's go, I'm already like, I'm like, if I leave right now, I'm gonna go home. Yeah. It's already like 1 a.m. If I leave this bar right now, I'm just gonna go home. If I leave Cincy right now, I'm gonna go home. Yeah. If I leave, where else do we go? Just Cincy. Yeah. Or like later or whatever. I'm just gonna go home. Like fuck this shit. But yeah, I imagine why, because I feel like
it's a good time, bro.
They just get down. They're just dancing, having a good time.
They've got like a house set in the back, a regular set inside. It's just a good time.
Yeah, bro. Any place that has dancing, we're gonna have a good time at. You know what I mean? And I'm basically like, I'm a big fan of, like, this is another thing. Like, I'm a big fan of like empty clubs, or like not empty clubs, but like whenever we go to like good times and it's empty, I like that shit. Because then I can dance and have a good time. Maybe suggest a song to the DJ or something. I'm gonna get more attention from the DJ. But I get to just dance and have a good time. Other people don't like that shit. They want to go where it's packed, where sardines are fucking... I mean, because that's where the people are. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, yo perreo sola. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo perreo sola. I don't need no goddamn shit to get me going, bro. I'll do that shit by myself. But at the end of the day, have you ever met a girl that's like interested in like nerd culture or like geeky things that you can talk about? You can talk about a lot of geeky things, and I've never never had an opportunity to talk about that with anybody.
Not too much. Not off the top of my head. I mean, a couple, but I'm also not too much into like the geeky nerd stuff. Like, I don't know. Other than like the MCU movies, I don't know anything past that. I've never touched a comic book in my life.
Really? Or anime? You get into anime?
I mean, I've watched Attack on Titan, Cowboy Bebop, and Neon Genesis. Those 3. Which were sick.
You watched Neon Genesis?
Yeah, bro.
We talked about you watching Neon Genesis.
Was wild. I had to watch that last episode like 5 times. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Neon Genesis Evangelion, I was watching it as if I was watching a Saturday cartoon when I went into it. I was like, oh.
Same. I was like, oh, little cool robots fighting monsters.
Mecha anime, like it's going to be cool. Fuck no, bro. These Japanese people know how to put into words things that things about myself.
The Japanese know what's up.
That I did not want to think about. Like, they have like this, like, I don't want to say disgusting, but like this like underbelly perspective of people's personalities.
Oh yeah, and they nail it.
Every fucking time.
Neon Genesis was wild. That was a roller coaster of like it starts off, you're like, oh, monsters fighting, these robots fighting the monsters, protecting Earth, and you're like, wait a minute, this is a little bit off, and then they start touching like on some other subjects and like the psychosexual development of these kids, and then you're like, what the fuck? And then the last episode with that one chick that goes through that whole like. Benji goes through that whole like
psychoanalysis,
transcendental psychoanalysis for like 2 episodes. I was like, what the fuck is
going on, bro? Like, I don't know.
I had to pull up a YouTube video, a bunch of YouTube videos to explain like what the hell. I think not smart enough.
It touches on like a lot of things too. Like for example, I think one of the coolest things that it touched about it was like how all these shows of like Power Rangers and all that stuff. Yeah, there's literally kids fighting these like world-ending threats, and that's a very like realistic perspective on what it would be like for actual kids to be fighting human like adult battles, and like obviously all the politics
and, like,
that go
world-ending
too, like
all
the politics that goes
that.
All of that stuff to put that pressure on kids. And how they they wouldn't react the way that they react in the movies.
Yeah, and Power Rangers like, oh, we saved the day, and these guys, the kids got like PTSD after every fight.
Exactly. What would be like if a kid was fighting in a tank? Yeah, the shit it would see in the battlefield. Yeah, the PTSD would go home with instead of doing his fucking homework.
Kicked in every time.
Exactly. Like, it'd be horrible for a child to experience that much pain. In the anime, these robots that they fight in are linked to themselves. So anything that the robot feels, like they feel them. So like one of them in the first episode gets his fucking arm chopped off. And he's a kid, and he's fucking he doesn't even know how to understand that pain because he didn't actually get his arm chopped off. The mecha did. Yeah. And mechas are like the robots that they use. But he's just going through that pain and like how would a child like that experience something like that, which I think is really cool. Yeah. And they do that with everything, bro. Like,
dude, they take everything to the next level.
They take everything to the next level. Like even Attack on Titan. Like Attack on Titan, I feel like is one of the more digestible animes.
Attack on Titan is such a good show.
It's such a good show.
That was the first anime that I watched because of you.
Yeah.
And you and like Idam and a couple other people were like, bro,
100%.
Watch Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Fine, bro.
If you're gonna get into any sort of anime, that's a great gateway to start.
It's not even just a good anime. It's just a good show.
It's an
incredible story. You start off season 1, you're like, oh, humans fighting monsters, and then, oh, well, there might be a little bit more to these monsters.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh fuck, wait a minute. And then
exactly.
at the end of season 3, you're like, Vilgas. And then start of season 4, you're like, oh my gosh. And then that reveal, the end of like part 2 of season 4, where it turns out,
literally towards the end.
I
know what you're talking about.
Just completely changes it. It's great that these Japanese know what's up, bro.
They have such a like cool way. Like there's been a lot of times with my girlfriend, like I'll start telling her, like for example, One Piece. Like One Piece is full like the saddest. If literally every character in there has such a sad story. Nobody in there has a good story.
I was at a bar in Austin. It was like a pizza bar.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and I was sitting in the corner of like the table because it was like a big table. There was like 10, 15 of us, and One Piece was on the TV, bro. And I was just watching it the whole time. I couldn't hear anything, but I was like, oh dude, I was like, the chew's gonna love this. I meant to send you a Snapchat, but my phone was dead.
You know what's funny? One time we were making music at my boy's apartment. And we were smoking weed and with Shubi, and. We were making music, and Shubi was, and I put JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've never seen it.
But it's pretty ridiculous, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And literally Shubi's face was just glued to the fucking screen.
Yeah.
But I put it on mute because we were listening to music because we were making music. And
trying to decipher what the fuck was going on.
And Shubi was just looking at that shit. It was so funny, bro, because it was like literally 20 minutes went by, and I looked at this motherfucker. This guy isn't taking this because it had the subtitles on, so you could read what was going on.
Oh, okay.
So it was really funny. But I was talking about One Piece. Okay, so One Piece. A lot of characters have like a lot of sad, tragic stories, and dude, shit that makes you cry, man. But anyway, there's been times where I tell my girlfriend stories like if it's just a show and not like if it's an anime.
Yeah,
and she fucking tears up, bro.
Great show.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's really good, and it's really cool for them to be able to portray. I feel like that's something that people don't understand about anime and like cartoons and stuff like that, is they just have so much room to put these like cool stories out there.
The little like anime quirks are what really throws people
100%. Yeah, you really have to dive.
Sound effects
you have to dive. That's why when you translate it to English, it just doesn't work, bro. Like it doesn't work because you're not getting. You're literally trying to like turn to. You think you're just turning the language to English, but you're not. Yeah. They talk different. Yeah. They say different things. That's why the Office,
the syntax of what you're saying is
that's why the Office UK didn't work over here. Yeah. Because they have like this different, like more awkward humor. They think awkward things are funny. Like awkward scenarios, awkward things they think that's the funny part. Mm-hmm. When they brought it over here, season 1 didn't do very good because it was just that. It was literally just a recreation of like the Office UK, so they turned it into The Office. And then in season 2 is when they realized, no, you know what? Our characters need to have some redemption towards the end. They made Michael Scott have some sort of. That's why he has those ending monologues at the end, because they want him to sympathize with people and stuff like that. So that hooked people on. You can have the awkward parts in there because we all know that The Office still has a bunch of awkward parts, but they have to be funny and they have to have some sort of redemption at the end to give people this like sort of catharsis throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. So that's just a different way. Now, if you take that over there, for example, Jackie Chan does not like Rush Hour movies.
Yeah,
he doesn't like them. Yeah, he doesn't understand them. He doesn't. He says that those are the worst movies. Not the worst movies that they ever made, but the more like confusing time in his life was.
It was like, why are we making these movies?
They
suck.
Making comedic movies in America because he doesn't understand the humor. So literally, and he doesn't speak English all that well. Like the lines that he says, it looks like he speaks very good English.
Well, yeah, he's just learning.
He's just learning the lines
he's and saying sounds.
Even if you watch the bloopers, like he'll be like, "Are you teaching me a bad word?" Like he doesn't know what he's saying when he says it because he'll say something and people start laughing, and then he doesn't know. Not that in a negative way. He just doesn't know. He doesn't understand because things are just different. It's the same thing with anime. You try to translate it to English and people are just not gonna get it. But I had a point to all this. Anyway, the good stories that people tell in these animes and in these shows are something that I wish I could like extract from anime and just like show to people, which is what I would do with my girlfriend, where I would just tell her a story about something sad that happened in the show if somebody's like origin, but I wouldn't say that it's from anime, and she would think that it was like a really good story.
8-minute fight scene where they threw one punch, you're like, oh
exactly. I fucking hated that. Everybody who watched Dragon Ball Z growing up in Juarez knows when you watch a whole episode and they only have 1 or 2 episodes per day.
I tried to watch Naruto and I was like,
it's horrible, bro.
I was like, this They just sat there for 15 minutes squaring up for the fight while they powered up. What the fuck is going on?
You know what's funny too is I saw a bunch of little fucking anime kids who thought fighting in real life was like fighting in an anime, and they got their ass fucking handed to them. Because in anime, a little like 90-pound kid can fight like this like 250-ton mercenary with like a broadsword or something with nothing more than a little fucking chopsticks and whatever, right? And it looks really cool and it makes sense in the anime. And then they go out into the real world and they think that they
talk
can
shit to some fucking biker dude.
Exactly. And they think that just the power of anime is going to save them, and or naturally like they're just going to learn jujitsu, you know, or something, and then they get their asses handed
to them.
That
one kid, he's like, "Don't fuck with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side." I was like, classic.
You see, when I see that shit, I understand what he's saying, but like,
I think he was just fucking around.
I know he was fucking around, but in anime, that's a very common trope.
Yeah,
where like the little nerdy boy that doesn't have like any muscle or anything,
he beats the jock.
He beats the fucking
kung fu master.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like, oh my god, shut the fuck up.
That was actually like a really cool theme that I really liked in from the old Spider-Man comics. Was that he's a nerd. He's a nerd. He's a little chump, even though he's stronger than everybody else. And I think that the Tom Holland Spider-Man is the first one that interpreted it like the best. Where he says he's like I'm different, but I was who I was before, so that's who I am now. Like even though I'm different, like I can't really show that to people because I wasn't like that before. And there's this really cool part of one of the comics where he gets so tired of Flash Thompson picking on him that he tells him, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna fight you. And they get in a boxing ring and start fighting. Yeah. And you finally think that Peter Parker's going to get this like comeuppance of like, oh, he's finally going to beat like Flash Thompson, and everybody's going to know that he's cool. He's not going to be a fucking nerd anymore. And I don't know what happens. He says that he's not going to punch him at full force, and he's going to punch him with his wrists. That way he doesn't hurt him because he's really strong. And one of those, he like goes a little bit too hard, and then a villain like clashes into the gym. And so everybody turns, and then Flash turns, and he punches Flash. He knocks him out. And then after that, everybody's like, wow, you sucker punched him. And like, he looks like even a bigger chump than he did before. And that was strategic. That was to show that like when he tries to act out of like malice or vengeance and stuff, he's just going to end up like in a worse position. So it's better to just keep it cool and do things like that. And not to push more of my like romantic anime and you know, I know that's not very sexy. I know that we're going to get back to like the sexy topics and stuff. But God of War made me want to be a dad, bro. Like that game. That and when I say that, people's eyes just like fucking bug out. But God of War, especially the remake. I mean, obviously the remake because now it's him with his son. Man, if nobody has seen that fucking game, or if you're a girl and you're thinking video games are for boys and it's not for me, well, just watch clips of that. It's basically a movie. Yeah. And it's just about this like overpowered god and one of the strongest characters to ever exist in video games trying to deal with having a son, with having a kid. How would you teach your son how to not be like you because you don't feel like you are, you know, this great person that's done a bunch of fucked up shit in the past? How do you raise a proper son, and how do you cut away this cycle of death and destruction that has been following you everywhere that you go? Even in the game, he tries to get away from stuff like that, but the circumstances that he's in, which are just keep pushing him out. It's kind of like that. Did you ever read Shane? The book Shane. It's like this very popular like trope in movies too, where like this retired badass dude goes into like a town.
The hero's trying to
escape.
Calm life,
it's like
peace and solitude.
Like Logan too, the movie Logan, where he's done with that
John
shit.
Wick type shit.
Exactly, John Wick, where something brings you back and it shows how badass you are and stuff like that. It's kind of like that, but it's really cool, and I recommend everybody to like watch something like that. Even when we were watching Lord of the Rings.
Fuck yeah. God, yeah.
When we were watching Lord of the Rings, I remember we were fucking high. We were stupid high. Allegedly high, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom.
And I remember we were like, I don't remember, there was this line in the movie that was just super, like, it was something about like, they were in this battlefield where like, it was the other people that had died, the people that they were fighting. So like the enemy was dead on the floor. And then one of the guys was like, fuck yeah, like these guys are dead or something. I don't know. And then his commander was like, why are you happy that they're dead? They believe in the things that you believe just as much. They believed in the fight just as much as you believe in the things that you're fighting for.
I'm trying to remember.
I just like, it took me out of the whole movie, bro. I was like, Jesus.
The Lord of the Rings movies are good. And Lord of the Rings, I mean, the book
Yeah.
Dude's even better, bro.
I've been thinking about reading. Well, to be fair, I haven't been thinking about reading the book.
Bother, bro. Do the audiobook. The
audiobook?
Dude, Tolkien, I love Tolkien, but he's so hard. He's very difficult. And those books, if you think the movies are dense, bro, the movies are...
The books
are pinky, bro. The movies
really?
are pinky. They left out a lot of shit from the books.
Damn, yeah.
And it still worked, but like... And then there's like thousands of years of history before the books that happen that are also just like epic. Like the stakes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the stakes were always like...
Have never been higher.
Well, no, the stakes and this one, it's like, oh, the Dark Lord is going to take over.
Yeah.
I guess, whatever. But like, that's nothing compared to the stakes in the first, the first age and the second age.
Wow.
Where like this guy, like the Dark Lord Sauron, is like the baby. He's like he's the number 2 guy to the real big bad guy.
Wow.
So like,
you're missing out on a lot.
Yeah, the main. Well, and this is like thousands of years before.
Yeah.
So like the main bad guy in all the bigger, crazier battles. Like part of Tolkien's like philosophy is that like things are getting worse with time.
Yeah.
So like all those great cities and kingdoms and stuff are nothing compared to the great cities and kingdoms of like 1,000 years before, and those are nothing compared to the great cities and kingdoms of before. The battles and the villain. It's crazy. It's like
That's cool. Like it's cool, and it comes from a very real place. Like even
that's his World War I experience.
Well, that's what the Once and Future King was. King Arthur. He talks about and really the stories that he's writing is about because he was in World War I. He was but he was a refugee. Like he didn't fight in the war. But he talks a lot about those stories, and it's he interprets them he puts them into like these like it's kind of like Avatar. Yeah. Where like there's these very realistic acts of war and violence, but they're portrayed to like a very young like audience. But they're still very, very dissectable and very like full of content and very approachable to children.
The Last Airbender was so good at that.
It was great.
So good at like understanding like the nuance of war and
I think one of my favorite storylines was when Katara was trying to find the people who kidnapped her mom.
Yeah.
And she's always pictured them as like these villains, like these like super big, horrible people, big scary guys. And then when she actually goes to them in civilian life, she realizes that they were just following orders, and this guy's just a piece of shit. People, it's just a regular guy. It's just a regular dude.
Or when they go to the Fire Nation city and they're like infiltrated it, and it's just normal fucking people.
It's just normal people that are in there. Not only that, but they're being indoctrinated. When he goes to school,
he realizes
that they're teaching them all of these things by like people, and they don't know anything about the world. They're kids, and I don't know. I feel like things like that take me out of.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. No,
yeah, for real, bro. It draws a lot of.
I'm kidding.
It draws a lot of parallels to the way that we live now. You know what I mean? Like I remember the first time that you were talking to me about the government in the sky or whatever the fuck you say. About like government being just like this like
the magical
entity in the sky, and it was so true. Like I grew up thinking about shit like that, and I never questioned it. I think that people don't give you enough credit for the topics that you you have.
The only thing I love more than having an ego is being a martyr about it.
But I also I feel like in that fantasy land, people do get a little too lost in shit like that. I was on TikTok, which I don't want this to be a podcast where I talk about TikTok things, but I have been talking a lot about TikTok things.
TikTok is life, bro.
No, for a couple reasons. Number one, it's too easy.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, low-hanging fruit, too easy. Number two, I feel like it's just one point. It's too easy. It's too easy to pick on them, I guess, is my second point. It's too easy to find it because it's on TikTok. Number two, it's too easy to pick on them because they're fucking stupid. But I did come across shifting, which I guess...
There's those idiots that think they, change realities?
Yeah. And that is where I feel like a lot of people see shit like that, and they're like, I'm not watching Lord of the Rings. I'm not watching anything with a fucking elf because of these fucking kids.
Weird ass.
Which is how I felt about the Rick and Morty fans. I didn't watch Rick and Morty for the longest time because
they were fucking weird.
Because of all these fucking guys wearing Pickle Rick fucking shirts that look disgusting with cargo shorts and DC shoes.
Going to the McDonald's. I want Szechuan sauce.
Szechuan sauce and shit. That was so stupid, bro. And I thought
is dealing with you. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. You're jumping on the fucking desk.
Or
counter or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, bro, poor guy, bro.
Stupid fucking idiot.
$10 an hour to deal with your shit.
Yeah,
bro. Go home.
But I would have done it like that guy. Remember that guy where the girls are dancing on the desks and he's just
he pushes the
a girl steps on his desk and he pushes her. That's so funny. But and I see things like shifting, bro, where people literally think, for people who don't know what shifting is, it's people who think that they can transfer their consciousness to like some sort of like. And, it was funny. I ran across it because this girl on the TikTok was like, "Oh, I was watching a movie with we were picking a movie with my sister, and I saw that the Truman Show was there." Mm-hmm. I'm directly quoting that because it just came back to me, but I'm directly quoting TikTok. But she's like, "Oh, I hadn't seen the Truman Show, which is a movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
but Milo had." But I had never watched it, so I told my sister that we should watch it because it was Milo's favorite movie. Milo's like the celebrity from a show. And her sister was like, "Why are you talking about him like you know him?" And she was like, "Oh, she doesn't understand that Milo and I are dating and our DS."
Yeah.
No, DR. So your CR is your current reality, which is this right here. I hope, because this is definitely where I desire to be right now.
Yeah.
But there's CR, which is current reality, and there's DR, which is your desired reality. Uh-huh. And she was like, I felt like I was going crazy because how do I explain to her that I actually do know him, that we are dating, but she doesn't understand. It's
just like a super intense danger.
Yeah.
And so. Fucking
and there's people that say that they go to Hogwarts for like 2 months and shit. And like this girl because I dove deep, bro. I mean, I'm at work for 8 hours a day. I have time to binge TikToks, bro. Yeah, it's horrible.
You send me so many.
Yeah, I know.
I love it. I wake up every morning. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta film.
Yes, sir. And they're gonna be good. I don't send like the mid shit.
I watch all the shit you send.
Cool, thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. I really needed to hear that.
Yeah.
But anyway. At the underlying thing about that was just sad for me, bro. I was like,
these people need some fucking jobs.
Yeah, bro. I would think that you would prefer to be in your current reality at all times. Anything that wants you, why would you want to escape?
Yeah.
This don't get me wrong.
All the time.
Yeah,
dude.
Me too.
I pretend whenever I'm driving home, I pretend like I'm a fucking professional tennis player in the car.
Yeah. Whenever I'm listening to Usher, I'm having like the greatest dance battle in my head, bro. I'm like all my ex-girlfriends are lined up and I'm dancing with like this baddie, like you know what I mean? And I'm killing it, and they're all thinking, "Oh my god, like this shit." Obviously, we all daydream. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes through it.
They just take it.
Yeah,
too seriously.
Yeah, they take it very seriously. Now, there's one thing to take it very seriously, and there's another thing to make TikToks about it and put them out on the internet. Yeah. And then you get bullied, and then you get talked shit, and then now everybody's like, you feel even worse about this thing. Like
I need to put shit on TikTok. I'm a confident guy, bro. I'm never in a million fucking years gonna make a TikTok. Dude. I made a TikTok about like a motherfucker.
I made a TikTok about my dogs, and that was enough for me, bro.
Yeah,
it was funny, but like I would never put my views like. I mean, I guess I do have a podcast.
So I would never put my views out on any sort of platform,
in public, and just for people to dissect it, or make reels about them and put them on. I guess I'm being very hypocritical because I'm doing this too. But
that's true.
That is true. I'm being very hypocritical.
TikTok is just dumb.
Yeah, I wonder if the people that are watching this currently, when they picked up on that.
Yeah.
But as I'm having this conversation, I promise you,
there's no way they picked up on it before we did.
No,
we're geniuses.
That's true. That's true. I'm a lot smarter than the people that watch this show.
Guys. What the fuck?
Come on, bro. Really? You guys can pause and rewind, and you're still not gonna get this shit. It's gonna take you a minute. But oh wow, that puts me in a very awkward place. Why do I do this? Why am I here? I don't know.
Self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, Jesus. But I guess
such a self-destructive personality, man.
Yeah, shit. Jesus Christ. Maybe this is just some sort of like. Maybe I am in the Evangelions last episode, and this is just like bro. You see what the fuck I'm saying? Those shows fuck with me, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Jesus Christ.
Self-destructive behavior. You're just like me, bro.
Yeah, we're the same person, bro. Jesus Christ.
I've had some crazy self-destructive fucking moments, dude. It's hilarious.
Really?
Bro.
Describe self-destructive because it seems
just
very
like
harmful.
one of those. Well, not physically self-destructive.
No, obviously I don't mean
physically self-destructive. My wrists are good.
Yeah,
but
I'm
like,
good too.
But this is one of those where like you're in like a
my happy, thighs though on a different.
My thighs. Whoa.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, baby. Those were the 5-inch inseams talking.
Yes, sir.
So I'm tatted up, baby.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. It was just one of those times where like you'll be in like a happy spot with like a chick. You're like, oh, like she likes me and I like her, and then you're just like, I need this to end.
I feel that from you, bro.
Bro, it happens way too often. I mean, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times. It's not like I've never even kissed a girl.
Yeah,
but like,
of course,
which is crazy. I've never even kissed a girl.
I know.
I've kissed 2 dudes, but never a girl.
Never a girl.
It's crazy, bro.
I feel like you'll know when you're ready. You know what I mean? The time,
like,
the time will let you know. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah. And you should. It speaks very bad about all the women that you've talked to up until now because they just weren't the ones. You know what I mean? I feel like. I feel like it's all on them. Not
Absolutely.
You. Obviously, not
100%.
You're a well-rounded guy. Yeah,
I'm flawless.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
I'm also incredibly humble.
Yeah.
Much more humble. Than anyone else.
You are incredibly humble. Yeah. I feel like me just having this podcast shows how humble I am as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really,
how lowly I think about myself.
Just
and
complete ego death.
Yeah, of course.
Complete ego death.
I don't have a whole podcast based off of a pun or like a little play on words of my last name or anything. You know what I mean? It totally didn't take me 3 months to come up with that name or anything, bro. Just came off the top of my head.
Is. I mean, we're just such good individuals.
You know what's funny though? I did tell my girlfriend one time, I was like, yo, like sometimes my boys or these guys, I think that they want like a girl, but they actually just want to like get laid and then hang out with friends, and they just rope these girls into like a whole relationship, and then they get laid, and then they realize they're just like, oh, maybe I don't want this so much, and I'm like, I feel bad for the
I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, I know.
Or you think you want a relationship, and then you kind of have that like situationship or whatever, you know, the early stages of it, and you're like, never mind, like, oops.
Yeah, girls that ask about situationships, because I've had girls, that's really what it is. Like, you think that you like this person, you think that you do.
Yeah, like, I'm not lying. You lied about this. I promise I wasn't lying. I was telling you 100% the truth. It was just, you know, I changed my mind.
It turns out that you're like a whole ass person, not just like this.
Yeah, not just an expression of my imagination.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like when I feel like a lot of guys, when they get that realization, I'm like, you just rope this person into like this whole thing, which I would say that girls are guilty about it too, right? Like,
I mean, everyone.
I don't know how many girls have tried getting me to be their fucking Troy Bolton fucking fantasy, bro. And like, I'm not it, bro. Like, I'm not it, dude. I'm not this one-dimensional character that's just gonna make your life. Like, I'm a guy too. I'm just a person. So like, I have one of the coolest quotes about love that I ever heard was like that we wouldn't love if there wasn't any lack within us, but we are disappointed to find that same sort of lack in somebody else. Yeah. We feel disappointed.
It's like, why aren't you perfect? You were supposed to fix everything about me.
And it's like you, in the disappointment that we have in looking for, in this person not having all the answers that we want, we realize that they have just as many questions as we do. Something like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, to me.
Do you want to make out?
After the show.
Right. Yeah, you can be my first.
It's rated PG-13.
Right.
But anyway, the quote doesn't end very pessimistic, because it always talks about, instead of like looking for somebody to answer all the questions that you have, realize that this person is just as scared, just as confused as you are, and try to work with something like that. That should give you some sort of ease. Yeah. Like, that gave me, like, people ask me like why I'm so good at presenting, because I'm really good at giving presentations and things like that.
Love that public speaking.
Exactly. Public speaking is very good for me. Now,
it got me out of doing so much work.
Yeah, like exactly.
In group projects, you know how everyone 100%. In the group projects doesn't want to present?
Yeah.
I would always sit in that first day. I'd be like, listen, who hates presenting? And they'd all raise their hand. I'd be like, I'll do 100% of the presentation. I will take care of the presentation. You guys do the work. Just send me the PowerPoint the night before, and I'll take care of it. It wasn't every single time.
Yes, sir. It out of the park. It wasn't just that. I mean, that takes more skills. That takes improvising and just being able to present. I would prepare. You know? I know. I'm sure. Which
like
is
in the mirror and shit too.
Yeah, dude.
Like public speaking. You. That's like another thing. Like, if you're practicing a presentation.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a difference between just like being able to go up and have a conversation. But if you're practicing a presentation, like, dude, you have to like get in the mirror, videotape yourself. Yeah. See, even watch videotaping yourself, you're going to change the way you act. Yeah. And the way you move your hands and stuff, because like, that's just how it is. You're being perceived, which is like totally different. So just, videotape yourself, see what you say when you say, and when you put your hands in your pockets. And, so like, you know, like you got to get those things out.
Yeah, get those things. It's a skill, bro, that you have to practice.
Write it down. It's a script. And boom, that next presentation you're gonna knock it.
I used to practice to my dogs. I had 3 dogs.
Straight up, yeah.
And I used to just be like talking in my living room, and I used to be looking at them, just making eye contact when they're practicing those things. So one of the reasons when I got really good at public speaking was when I realized that these people don't know more than me about my presentation. It's not like they're not judges, bro. Exactly. They're just people that I'm presenting. They don't know anything about the fucking class. They don't know anything about what the fuck I'm saying.
Maybe you get like one douchebag in the class that's like a nerd that wants to ask a bunch of fucking questions. Yeah. And it's like, really, dude?
Yeah, dude. Like, so I fucking hated that shit, because I remember that those people that they had 5 minutes for questioning. So I would ask really complicated questions that had a really easy answer, bro. Yeah. But to make them look good. But then they took it as I would say something really complicated that was really just a yes or no. Yeah. Or like a yes, that was in this slide over here. Something complicated.
Shit the bed. Motherfucker.
And then I would go up And they were so pissed at me
that
they would ask me these stupid
like,
fucking questions, bro. Now, questions that were super, they think that they're smart questions, but really because I'm well versed in my topic, I can answer them pretty well. And not make myself look pretty good, you know what I mean? But that's one of the, like, that same reason is when I got really good at public speaking was because I realized that these people are just like me. They also don't want to be up here. They're here for a grade. They're not judging me. Nobody gives a fuck.
Perceived. Exactly. That's like the biggest. No one wants to be perceived unless you're in a situation where, like a dude or a girl going out to a bar, like that's you want to be,
or like perceived. Instagram or something where you have so much more control in the things that people see and the things that they perform.
Like in a school presentation, like I promise you, none of these 30 people in your classroom are gonna go home and be like, "Oh my god, the Julius presentation was so bad today."
Yeah, I remember before I left my job here at UTEP, I was talking to my manager about like how very little of our job was customer service. Yeah. But I know a lot about customer service because I worked in the industry for 5+ years ever since it was my first job, right? Yeah. And I like to say that I had very good managers that gave me a really good perspective on customer service. So I told my boss, who was not really good at customer service, and we weren't trained on customer service, besides your basic like hellos and goodbyes and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, hey, like maybe we should talk a little bit more about customer service, just as a side conversation that I was having with everybody. And I was like, because a lot of these issues that we're having, because we rented a lot of equipment, people don't know what the equipment is, but we do, but they know what they want to happen. For example, I would tell people, do you want an HDMI? And they'd be like, nah, I'm good. And then they would call me later like, how do I connect my laptop to the screen? Oh my God. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, they don't know what an HDMI does. They don't know what the fuck, but they know what they want. So I was like, that's an issue that we can avoid if we just ask them, like, if we have a little bit more of a conversation. Instead of asking, do you want an HDMI? Just be like, what's your presentation going to look like? Do you need
to connect your laptop to the television?
Where are you going to project it? Were you thinking about projecting it? Or you just need a microphone? And they'll be like, oh yeah, well, I want to project it onto the screen. Okay, well then you're going to need an HDMI. Let me get that for you. Okay. Stuff like that, right?
100%. Yeah. Like so the usability stuff.
100%, which applies to a lot of things.
Everything.
So I literally, we were having this conversation, and he came up to me later. He's like, hey, would you be down and write some notes down, and we can maybe put it in the presentation? Because we would get trainings, and whenever you're in school, you get a lot of trainings. Yeah. For like active shooters, health, like first responders and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. And he told me, he was like, would you be down to just make a presentation? He's like, I'll give it, but like make a presentation and like whatever. And it was like, sure. So like a couple months go by, and he was like, hey, like, sorry.
Fucking sleepy DB,
bro. No, you're good,
God's sleepiest soldier.
Yes, sir. You're good. I'm sorry. I'm boring you.
I'm just sleepy.
What you just did is probably what everybody else who's listening to this.
I stayed up last night to watch the Australian Open.
Oh, okay.
Since it's in Australia, the match started at like 1 a.m. Yeah. So I'm a sleepy boy.
I get you, bro. Don't worry. We'll be done here in soon a minute. But anyway, my point before you fuck. Oh, anyway. So he was like 2 months later after he told me to do it, I was like, hey, I have it ready if you want to. But they knew that I was leaving the job. But I was like, I'll give this presentation before I leave. It's going to be like my last thing. Yeah. Or I'll give you this and I'll be there to help you or like whatever right before I leave. And I literally went up and it was just some points. I didn't even give the presentation, but I just gave him all the points or something. And he was like, do you think you could do like this whole presentation with like 2 hours? And I was like, easy as fuck. I was like, yeah, of course. Minutes. He's like, okay, because I can't deliver it with the same amount of confidence that you're doing it right now. Yeah. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, no, I think that you're the one to give this presentation. And I was like, dude, I'm just talking to you. Like literally, I'm just talking to you. I wasn't even giving you my presentation. Ignore
the fact that it like is a conversation. Just talk to these people. Yeah. Don't think of it as presenting something. You're not don't think of yourself as a source of authority.
Exactly.
Just I'm a dude that's talking about customer service.
Right. And I don't know. I feel like that applies to a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people around our circle group, but like just also around TikTok, around Instagram and stuff like that, would be a lot more relaxed if they just understood they peeked behind the curtains. You know what I mean? Just like with celebrities, bro. Like if you peek behind the curtain, this shit, and you don't just take in the things that you see in these. Oh,
their lives are fucked up.
Their lives are crazy, bro. Yeah. Like not necessarily that you wouldn't want to live them, but there's just a lot more to entail.
It's a different set of issues.
Exactly. Like I remember. A better set of issues. I remember my mom. She was. I mean, not to talk shit about my mom, but but I remember like because I told her this to her face. I was like, and she started laughing, but like she was like, oh my god, like I was watching this interview with Raul Alejandro and Rosalia and how they waited to date because they didn't want to upstage each other. Like they wanted to both grow as artists.
That's so dumb.
And then they didn't want to be like she didn't want to be Raul Alejandro's girlfriend. No, Raul Alejandro. You would think. From
he's not gay?
No, he's not
I
gay.
could have sworn someone told me he was
From
gay.
a Texas standpoint, you would think that he's very gay.
But I could have sworn I saw like I read something talking about.
Not Raul Alejandro.
Oh, what?
That guy gets. Have you seen his music videos?
Yeah,
Have I
that's
not
true.
shown you?
No, I've seen his music videos.
Have I not educated you well?
There's a bunch of artists that.
That's true. Yeah. But anyway,
that changes things.
she
I
told
kept sliding into his DMs. Fuck.
You can take the warrant away, okay? What is it? When you can't get close to somebody. What's that?
The restraining order.
You can take it down. Okay?
Yeah. You can.
I understand now.
I'm sorry.
It was a misinterpretation. But she was telling me how like they waited to date because they didn't want to upstage each other. And she's like, "Can you imagine like how difficult it is to love somebody and not be able to be with them in the public?" And I was like, "That's so fucking stupid." That's
dumb as fuck.
I told her, I was like, "Who gives a fuck?" I was like,
the only people that cared were them.
Yeah, I was like, but like no, but like these shows are all dissecting it, and everybody's thinking about this like it's a great love thing, and I'm like, bro, who gives a fuck, dude? Like these guys, you really think I care what this person making millions of dollars cares about his love?
The plight of the millionaire is the least important thing in my entire life.
Even
Even millionaires that I love, like millionaires that I love,
you
know, like celebrities and athletes or whatever. At the end of the day, it's like, oh no. What's he gonna do? Go cry in his fucking mansion? Yeah,
bro. Go cry in your fucking Louis Vuitton fucking pillowcases, bro. Like while you're while you're wearing Yeezy fucking flip flops to go get organic milk from the fucking fridge and shit, and feature $100,000 dogs and shit, and so you can post like a little crying thing about yourself on Instagram that gets like millions of likes
during the pandemic. Like we're all in this together. It's like no, we're not, bro. You're in your beach house in fucking Malibu.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So many like celebrities were like, "Oh, this is the first time that I like was able to step back and like just live my life."
Dude, all those videos that they would make, like trying to sympathize. When Ellen was crying, like, dude, Ellen, you get paid $40 million a year.
Get the fuck out of here, like, bro. Dude. Like, we're not in the same situation, bro. I'm over here. Me and my brother are tearing each other apart. Yeah. Because we've been in the house for 2 weeks.
Dude, that was
and we're worried about toilet paper and food, and you're over there having your personal assistant still working.
So bad. Not the first few weeks, but the like middle. Like after 3 or 4 weeks, and those like next 3 or 4 weeks after that, were just like, oh my god, dude, I was going crazy. I was like, I need to fucking do something. Yeah. I mean, I definitely left the house more than the average person. I mean, fuck, I was like, I'm going to Chu's apartment. Yeah. But still, like, even then, I was like, I need fucking Cincinnati Street.
I know, bro. I think they opened Cincy for like a week, and I went like 3 days. Yeah, I was there
itching, bro.
Yeah. That social interaction. I remember in the fraternity too, because I was president during the COVID time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I realized right away, because I'm really good at picking up that stuff, bro, that like we had these meetings, these fraternity meetings, like weekly meetings, but like now we were having them through Zoom. And I like, they from UTEP and everybody wanted me to like start talking about recruitment and all this shit. And I was like, bro, if you saw the faces that I see in this meeting, they just want to hang out.
They just want to talk shit to each other.
I remember like,
dude, Iran's banana costume made my fucking like month, bro. I was like, excellent.
When Randazzo put like the gangbang thing in his background, I was like, that's so funny.
Shit like that.
And I remember that like it happened in the very first meeting when like I was like, hey guys, like what's up, like whatever. I went through what I had to go through. It took me like 30 minutes because through a Zoom call everything's shorter.
There's no interruptions. No.
And literally, I was just like, okay, like, and I was about to end the call, but then guys just started like tripping in, talking, whatever. All of a sudden, we were there for like 2 hours, bro. After the meeting was over. Now, when the meeting is in person, meeting's over, everybody fucking leaves.
Skedaddle, bro.
Everybody leaves. And I realized right away, I was like, holy shit, like people are not leaving. They're just talking, hanging out. Literally, all the talking and hanging out that we would do in real life is happening right now. And I realized, okay, that's what these meetings are going to be about. These meetings are going to be about whoever wants to stay and talk. That's what they're going to be like. The information is going to be like 20 to 25 minutes. Yeah. Everybody in SCLC HQ,
fuck those guys, bro.
Are trying to bombard these guys with like, now we got to do, let's do training modules and all this shit, and redo all of our exec folders and all this shit. And I was like, bro, these kids, if you push them right now, they're gonna leave. They're looking for just some social interaction. And I remember too, because we recruited guys during the pandemic, and I asked them, I was like, why would you join a fraternity during a point where you can't do anything?
Friends, man.
Yeah, where you can't do anything fraternal. And then he was like, bro, how else am I gonna get involved in school right now? Like, what else is there? He's like, true. They literally told me like, what do you mean? There's nothing else, and it flipped my perspective. Yeah. And I was like, you just have to be very welcoming and open to things like that. But yeah, that was dense. That was heavy. Anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that you want to get off your chest?
For part two.
For a part two? Yeah, this is definitely a part part tour.
Yeah, this
or
is
was
just
it a two-parter?
a warm up.
Yeah, for sure. JP, thank you so much for having me, bro. I forgot to introduce you in the beginning. JP, one of my best friends. We've been trying to have him in the podcast for a long time. It's finally able to happen. You had a big boy job at a law firm. Big boy job. Hopefully we'll get to talk more about the law next time.
Oh yeah.
I'll bring like cases. And you can talk about
down,
that.
Bro.
Yeah. More of like a segment thing.
Yeah. I had some fun cases that would definitely be about.
Hell yeah. I'm very, very happy with this conversation that we just had. I think it turned out way better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I was
we didn't prep for this.
No, we didn't prep. Yeah, I remember
you. Show up.
And it happens to like everybody. They're like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I have some topics.
Yeah,
but like we'll figure it out because I really just have like some bullet points, and then I just kind of like things that I think are going to be like really big issues end up happening in like 5 minutes, and then we move on to something else, which is a good thing. I don't try to fight it. I just try to go with it. This is the first one in Spanish too. My last 2 episodes were in. No, this first one in English. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
throw the next one in Spanish.
Too. I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding, bro.
It was cool, but I don't know. I feel like I got a lot more out of myself, and I look like a fucking idiot, bro. Like I think half of the reels that I did in Spanish were just me fucking up. Really? That I thought was funny. I thought it was funny when I fucked up, so I was like, yeah, whatever. But anyway, JP, thank you so much for being here, bro. I really, really appreciate you coming, and hopefully we can have you on again.
Dude, you tell me. I'll be here fucking tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening to I was about to say a different podcast name. Oh. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Let Us Rap. This week's episode is really fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. JP, a song that you're currently obsessed with, and how can we find you on the social webs?
That's a great question. Let me pull it up. Let's just go to the most played on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. I got a lot of. We haven't hung out in a minute. I got a lot of good.
That's what's up, dude. When the Chuga says he's got a song to show you, like when the Chuga speaks, you listen, and like all my top songs. I swear to God, like 90% of my top songs are songs that Lechuga at some point was like, "Yo, dude, I gotta show you a song," and then boom. If he says that, it's a banger. And if you listen to it and you don't like it, you listen to it again and again and again until you Stockholm syndrome yourself into liking that shit.
Yes,
I'm telling you, bro. That's the only way to live.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Right now, dude, and some Sitangana, bro. Sitangana's good.
Sitangana's good.
My brother got me into this like rap in Spanish. This group called Violadores del Verso.
Violadores del Verso,
yeah.
Wow.
That's fire, bro.
Wow. You know what's funny? I just got into this band called Surfistas del Sistema.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Right. Yeah.
Violadores del Verso y Surfistas del Sistema.
They've got two songs that are bangers, bro. One's called Cantando and the other one's called Ninguna Chavala Tiene Dueño. Bangers.
Wow.
Yeah, and then for the socials, Instagram. Shit.
If you guys have chance, check out Sal Rosa by Latin Mafia too. I never recommend music, and somebody told me that I should also recommend.
That's a good one, yeah. JP_Hobbs, HOPBS.
Okay. On Instagram?
Yeah.
You have Twitter? No Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But stay away from my Twitter.
From that Twitter. Yeah.
Stay away from my Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter
different handles.
My Twitter, I used to use it for like philosophical
just
stuff.
Shit posts.
Nobody really fucked with it, so I just stopped doing it. And then I realized I didn't do anything else on Twitter, so I just got rid of it. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, bro, and we'll have you on next time.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.